Thank you very, very much. Three outspoken commentators join me right now to discuss and debate the planned federal terror trials. They are sitting with me here. They are the attorney and best-selling author Ann Coulter on your right, Judge Jeanine Pirro, who hosts her own hit show on your left, the comedian, the activist, New Jersey's own Joe Piscopo. All three, I'm proud to say, are friends of mine, although I suspect, Ann, that you're not very happy with my position on this particular issue.
No, I'm not. I do agree with you that a lot rides on this for Obama. I think they're thinking either they get a conviction and they look like really macho studs, or they blame everything on the Bush administration. I mean, this really is appealing just to the crazy liberal base of the left.
What, to try them in federal court? Why?
The equation I just gave you is that Americans, when they hear that loud rock music was played in terrorist cells, will say, this is outrageous. And I do not think Americans are going to react that way unless they're on MSNBC or MoveOn.org. Number two, even if they
won't be on that federal jury, I'll tell you that much.
I don't know. We're in New York, and, well, that's something I'd like to ask the prosecutor about, all of the grounds for getting evidence excluded, for getting case dismissed, which I think is a big problem. But number two, even if they get a conviction, I'll just say this quickly, as that trial is progressing, you and all the other TV stations are going to have these criminal defense lawyers on who will defend, you know, O.J., Clinton, and anyone else saying, well, of course we have to exclude this, and that's just going to make people angrier and angrier at Obama.
This sissy murdering pig, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, has confessed out his tushy since the moment he was captured. We have him on tape saying that he did it. What is the fear of bringing him where he committed the crime to stand trial?
This is insanity. We are affording constitutional rights to war criminals. The Military Commissions Act of 2006, as a result of the Supreme Court, said these guys need to be tried in a military tribunal. What about the right to counsel? They didn't get the right to counsel when they were picked up in Afghanistan.
You get the right to counsel in a military commission also.
What about speedy trial? They've been in Guantanamo for years.
The confession only came a couple of years ago, and there is no statute of limitations for murder.
Geraldo, these guys have been allegedly waterboarded, one maybe 183 times.
Then all of the coerced testimony is excluded.
Then what are we going to use as
My
evidence?
attorney general tells me that there is ample evidence, Joe Piscopo, to convict these people and send them to the death chamber.
It's gotten too far. Send two Italian guys from Jersey in a Buick. It'll be over in 2 days. That's all I ask. I mean, you know what I mean? What happened to covert action? What happened to good old-fashioned covert action? I tell you, we got to triple team you today, Geraldo. We love you. You're the smartest cat on this network, but I got to tell you something. This is so wrong. As a father of 3 small children, to bring a terrorist trial into this region is frightening.
What about
I want to see them convicted and sent to death. Well, that's an interesting point. We'll talk some procedural points, but I think that where in the world will they get a...
Well, not New York.
When we come back, the tsunami of reaction to the federal government's decision to try Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and 4 of his co-conspirators, alleged co-conspirators, from 9/11 in federal court, not far from here, very close. Really, if those buildings still stood, they would be in the shadow of the Twin Towers. And don't you think that that is appropriate? Isn't that just...
No, in fact, that's probably a basis for a change of venue motion by the defense. Look, any federal judge sitting on this trial is going to realize the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments have been violated.
Judge,
don't give them back to them retroactively.
Don't you remember 1993? Don't you remember the 1995 trials in the Southern District?
You know what the difference was? The difference was they were picked up on American soil. They were picked up by
the same building.
But they were picked up by law enforcement.
Don't you think this will reverberate much better throughout this planet?
The world?
Yes.
I don't care about the world. I care about the fact that more people were killed.
Do you really, knowing the justice system as you do, believe that these people will be acquitted in our court?
I think that a federal
Attorney General is so naive?
Will say their rights were violated. I can't, as a federal judge, allow it.
And Joe, to your point, you know, we are both dads, and we both live in New Jersey. Do you remember the last time anyone escaped from federal max? It has never happened, as far as I know. I know there was one incident where a guy perpetrated violence against some correctional officers. They've never gotten out of MCC, never.
I know, but it's too scary. And, you know, a lot of the
Why is it scary? I'm not
Because
scared.
2 of the terrorists came from New Jersey. They were right in Essex County, New Jersey, renting cars and going in. It's just so glaring. This is, as the judge said, it's a war crime, Geraldo. It's a war crime. It should be treated and dealt with in a military court.
Why can't it be treated as 3,000 murders, Ann Coulter? This is 3,000 homicides. The vast majority of the victims were civilians.
Well, for one thing, I don't know why it should be. They'd already started the military tribunal. It is an act of war. I don't know how you would distinguish. I mean, why isn't what Hitler did just a bunch of murders?
It could have been.
Well,
a big bunch.
Okay.
And in this case as well.
What
Historic
Janine,
wrongs that have been done.
What Janine was referring to is part of the problem. They weren't taking a criminal suspect. They were trying to get someone who had information and to get information out of him, because no one cares if he goes to prison. No one cares how a conviction goes. We want to catch him, hold him, and get intelligence from him. So they weren't interrogating
I want him to die by
in a
lethal
way that
injection.
that evidence could be upheld in court.
In the shadow of a Marion federal prison. I'll be right back.